Today we're going to talk about a new movie called When I Live My Life Over Again. But before we do that, I need to educate you about a trend in modern filmmaking that this movie represents. Flashback 17 years. The year is 1998. Awful R&B songs are at the top of the music charts. The President of the United States is involved in a sex scandal, and smoking is banned in all California restaurants. And other things happen that I looked up on this Wikipedia page. But what's relevant to our discussion today is the release of 4 movies. Number 1, the Michael Bay directed Bruce Willis movie Armageddon, which is about astronauts attempting to stop an asteroid from destroying the Earth. Number 2, the Elijah Wood movie Deep Impact, which is about astronauts trying to stop an asteroid from destroying the Earth. Number 3, A Bug's Life, an animated movie about ants. And number 4, Ants, an animated movie about ants. By now you should have noticed that for being released in the same year, these movies have a disturbing amount of things in common with one another. I mean, if you think about it, A Bug's Life and Armageddon are practically the same movie. I kid. But 1998 was the year when this trend of filmmakers copying each other, whether intentional or not, and releasing their movies the same year, became very obvious. We've seen this many times since, such as in 2000 with Red Planet and Mission to Mars, 2009 with Paul Blart Mall Cop and Observe and Report, 2012 with Snow White and the Huntsman and Mirror Mirror, and 2013 with Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down. This brings us to 2015. If you only look at the big studio blockbusters, you won't be able to find any of these identical twin movies, unless you count 50 Shades of Grey and Paddington, which you shouldn't, because that's a terrible example. But if you take a look at the indie scene, you'll find not 2, but 3 movies that are nearly identical in concept this year. First, there's Danny Collins, a movie in which Al Pacino plays an aging singer who tries to reconnect with this kid who hates him for his past mistakes. Secondly, there's today's movie, When I Live My Life Over Again, a movie in which Christopher Walken plays an aging singer who tries to reconnect with this kid who hates him for his past mistakes. Lastly, there's Ricky and the Flash, which isn't out yet, but the trailers tell me that it's about an aging singer played by Meryl Streep who tries to reconnect with her kid who hates her for her past mistakes. Pretty similar, all these movies. Those of you who think indie filmmakers are above this copycat nonsense had better think again. Since I can't talk about Ricky and the Flash yet, let's weigh the qualities of When I Live My Life Over Again against the qualities of Danny Collins. How do they compare? Well, in simple terms, Danny Collins rules. When I Live My Life Over Again drools. But to elaborate, what made Danny Collins a good movie wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I like Danny Collins the movie because I like Danny Collins the character. It's that simple. First of all, Al Pacino played him with a lot of charm and warmth. And sure, the character did a lot of stupid things like snorting cocaine, sleeping with random women, and neglecting his son and his son's family. But he tried to move past these mistakes and become a better person through acts of thoughtfulness and generosity. I wanted him to win his son's love because he seemed to truly want it. He made a real effort to change his ways. But Walken's very similar character is just blah. I didn't think it was even possible for me to hate a Christopher Walken character because I love the guy so much. But this movie found a way. His family is falling apart and he doesn't seem to care. The guy is supposed to be a sympathetic character, but he got no sympathy from me. Neither did the other main character, a struggling punk rocker daughter played by Amber Heard. She was equally annoying in her own way. She did nothing but mope around and feel sorry for herself the entire movie. I look at both of them and how miserable they are and I think, wow, these two have gotten everything they deserve. And I don't care what happens to them at all. Another thing I liked about Danny Collins is that it moved along with purpose. It was a movie about searching for redemption and I as an audience member thought, yeah, go get him, Danny. But When I Live My Life Over Again is muddled and repetitive. There's nothing propelling it along. It's essentially Amber Heard and Christopher Walken having the same old, you're a terrible dad, you're a disappointing daughter argument over and over again for 98 minutes. It gets old fast. Overall, this one's getting a 4 out of 10. In short, just watch Danny Collins instead. It's a good movie. This isn't.